welcome back to the Film Reelcast. I'm Stuart, your host. It's Mandalorian time. It's that time of the week. We're at chapter 15, called The Believer. Okay, now this is a reaction podcast, being that I watch about 5 minutes and then you get my honest, instant reaction to what's happening. Could be good, could be bad. There's a lot to live up to from last week, from the tragedy. I really enjoyed that fast-paced episode. And the uplifting feeling, having Boba Fett back, was just incredible. There's no hiding that enjoyment, that feeling of actually saying Boba Fett was back. So this episode has got a lot to live up to. The fast pace, the excitement, the non-stop action, and the battle with the stormtroopers. All of it was great. So it's got a lot to live up to. But before we get into that, I've got Cobra Kai seasons 1 and 2. Fantastic reviews. I really enjoyed doing them. Full of pictures, full of videos. Even if you haven't got Netflix and haven't seen it, you can still follow it. And you can still get involved. There's the Shield as well. And I promise you I will get to the Lethal Weapon review that I've been promising. Now I've freed up doing Cobra Kai. I'm free to do other reviews, which I cannot wait to get stuck into. So click on subscribe, click on notifications, and you won't miss an episode. So for those not of our planet, if you remember from that previous episode, we had Boba Fett, we had Fennec Shan just come into this episode. And it was an amazing episode. For me, as I said, it was the best episode yet. Really exciting. The Stormtrooper battle was just so good. Great to see the Stormtroopers in the daylight, see the detail, see various weapons. It was really exciting. Boba Fett. This was the Boba Fett that I always wanted. When I was young, when I was 5 or 6, playing with the Boba Fett figure, I played with him as in he was a proper badass, that he beat everyone. He was just so good. And the Boba Fett that we've got now is the one that I imagined he would be like, that he could be if he was given the chance. When you saw him, remember he didn't really have hardly any speaking lines when he was in the original Star Wars trilogy. But still he was such an icon, and there's a reason for that, that people just took to him. And to see him out, just kicking ass with all the gadgets, the knee rockets, the punch boosters when he's hitting people, and the rocket on the back to blow those 2 spaceships up, is absolutely brilliant. So it's just fantastic that we've got these characters who have lived up to the kind of standards that we've set them at. So if this carries on going like this, any new characters that they do build in, there's so much hope that they will reach the peak, the pinnacle of what we want them to be like. Right, so in the intro at the moment, there's a scrapyard. And again, you can look at the attention to detail. You can see the AT-AT, the body, the legs of the AT-AT, lifting this TIE fighter up. Brilliant. And amongst all the wreckage there's different bits of TIE fighter. You can see the lids on the floor. You can see kind of the actual main body of it without the wings, and you can see the wings as well. It's so good to see these kind of spaceships, these kind of bits of detail so close up. So we can see Mayfeld there working on a ship, and that he's called to come over and speak to Marshal Dune. This is obviously Cara Dune, who's going to help Mando get Mayfeld into her custody so then they can track down Moff Gideon's spaceship. And the clue there is when they're walking through, he's asking, where you taking me, where you taking me? And as we go over the brow of the hill, you can see the Slave One ship. So I should think in there is probably Fennec, and you've got Boba Fett and the Mandalorian as well. So Mayfeld walks up to the ship. Boba Fett comes out with Fennec, and he has painted his uniform. He looks great. It's all smart. It's got the lights back on. He looks really, really good. Going back to the original Boba Fett. And then he kind of smiles when he sees him and says, thank God, I thought you were the other guy. As soon as he says that, Mando walks down, and the horror on Mayfeld's face is quite apparent. But they said, you're lucky, you're Imperial. That means you know their protocols, that we need you for a mission where you can get us into places where we currently can't go. He's got no other choice. He either stays there, kind of breaking up wreckage, or he goes on a mission. So he's going on the mission. So they asked Mayfeld for his help. And he says he needs to go to Morak. There's an Imperial mining hub, because he needs an Imperial terminal to track down Moff Gideon's ship. So that's where the guys are going to go. Right, so they need to get in to this refinery, this mining kind of base that the Imperial terminal was in. And they're told by Mayfeld, that are surrounding it. They've got these kind of detectors with face recognition. So if you're wanted by the Imperials, they said there'd be guns out and you'll be hunted down and taken immediately. Obviously, they're all wanted. Boba Fett, Fennec. You can't have Carla there either. She's meant to be a marshal for the rebels. So it's not going to work. They're not going to let Mayfeld go there all on his own. So Mando's agreed to go. And as you can see, he's done a close-up on one of the troopers who's in this carrier. So my feeling is that they're going to take over, kill a couple of troopers and dress up in their uniform. That way, you won't be able to see Mando's face. So as the Juggernaut goes under a bridge, they jump on the back of it and Carla jumps in the cockpit. As you can see, she smashes crap out of both of the drivers. She's so good. She just kicks ass, no nonsense. So they've now got control of the Juggernaut and obviously 2 uniforms as well. Let's see what happens. I think it's going to get really messy at some point. There's going to be a massive shootout. I hope so anyway. I need an uplift. After what happened to Grogu, I need something uplifting. I need something good to happen to get me back on track. So they've dressed up in the pilot's uniform. Mayfeld isn't too impressed, but when you see Mando wearing this grey and dreary uniform, it goes to show just how good the Mandalorian looks when he's fully dressed up. And even kind of Mayfeld and Carla take the piss out of him. I don't trust Mayfeld. I already think the moment he gets a chance to redeem himself, as in grass everyone up and get everyone captured, if they can capture a Mandalorian, if they can capture Boba Fett and Fennec as well, he'll get major kudos for that. So at any moment, I've got a feeling, maybe once the mission's done, or when he's put in no other position, but I think he's going to grass everyone up for his own gain. So as they're driving the Juggernaut, they look to the side of the road and you can see lots of damaged, blown up Juggernauts. I don't know whether there's like a guerrilla group on this kind of planet or in this part of it that are destroying some of the Imperial vehicles. So it'll be interesting to see whether they get actually targeted by kind of pirates, guerrillas, whilst they're driving the Juggernaut and need the help from Fennec and need the help from Boba Fett as well. It'll be interesting to see what happens. It can't go too smoothly because remember, this is the Mandalorian. And they're also carrying Rhydonium, which is a very kind of flammable, explosive material, which is what the refinery is actually mining. So whether that will come into play later on. So remember, the Juggernaut is carrying that Rhydonium as well, which is very flammable and very explosive. So it'll be interesting to see at the end of this, in order to get away, they do a kind of Margot Robbie Harlequin from the film where she drives that massive Juggernaut truck itself into the Acme factory where Joker actually created her, where she was born, and the whole thing blows up. So they're potentially carrying a massive weapon in the back of the Juggernaut themselves. So as previously said, one of the Juggernauts is just called up on the radio saying they're getting some interference. Then you hear some blasters, then you hear some screaming. They've obviously been taken out. So as I said earlier, there are some guerrillas, there are some bandits, some baddies, some pirates, who, whatever you want to call it, have just taken out a Juggernaut. I'm sure next on the list is the Juggernaut that Mando and Mayfeld are driving. So Juggernaut 4 and Juggernaut 3, as you can see from the picture, has just been destroyed. Mayfeld is starting to poo himself a bit, but Mando is cool and calm as usual. They are just driving towards where the mayhem is. Okay, you've now got this spaceship. It's just kind of this craft that's just flown next to the Juggernaut that they're driving in. It's fully equipped, it's tooled up with people, and they're going to try and take it out as well. I've got a feeling that they won't be as successful. This is getting good. This is what I need. So the pirates are putting thermal detonators in to the Rhydonium to try and make the whole thing explode. But remember, both of them are flammable anyway, but together it's just going to cause a huge explosion as we've seen earlier. Now, Mando's got to stop him from doing that because he's on his own mission to try and get Grogu back. So Mando manages to take every single person out. He shoots the guy on the back who then falls off and the thermal detonator then blows everything up. They've got in the massive Juggernaut, in the dashboard, they've got this kind of graph which is going up. And that's for the Rhydonium. And every time it goes up in the red, there's a chance that it will explode. So they've got to try and get out of there and keep it in the green so not to detonate the whole Juggernaut that they're in. So now there's 2 crafts full of pirates. They're going to need help from Boba Fett. They need help from Fennec. They just can't deal with this on their own. You've got Mayfeld who's got to drive it. And you've got Mando who's only got a blaster trying to field off everyone. So Mando starts shooting the pirates off the back. And then his laser gun runs out of bullets. I've never seen that. I've never heard of a laser gun running out of bullets. In all of the Star Wars films, of all of various guns, they've never stopped working. Whether it's overheated or it has a power pack that you clip in that needs recharging. But you never see them. When you think how many shots the Stormtroopers fire off, that they never seem to run out of bullets. So it's interesting and unfortunate for Mando that he seems to have run out of bullets. Or run out of lasers, should we say. Laser. So Mando's managed to take out the 3 bandits on top of the Juggernaut. One went down the front, one went down the side, and as you can see, he speared the other one right off the back. But there's one more craft with more pirates on. So Mando tells Mayfeld to get the hell out of here. He's got no ammunition left, and there are no other guns on board the Juggernaut. And as they go faster to try and outrun the pirates, this graph that's in the front of the dashboard for the Rhydonium is in the red. Remember, it's flammable, it's explosive. If it goes too long in the red, the whole thing is going to explode. So Mayfeld slows down and the graph goes back in the green. If it goes back in the green, it means the pirates can catch up and Mando's got to take them on all on his own. So Mando has taken out the 3 or 4 pirates that are on the back. This time one of them did manage to open a hatch and did put a thermal detonator on the Rhydonium, which is on there. But he managed to get it off, and as you can see, he throws it towards the 2 crafts as the pirates are trying to escape, and it blows up. It's a really good shot of them driving through the explosion. Their crafts blow up as well, sending Mando flying back. I hope this is the last of the pirates. It's getting a bit repetitive. It's like a computer game. You've got to take 1 craft on, then you've got 2 pirate crafts on, and then there's going to be 3 pirate crafts, and it's going to go on and on. I hope this is the last lot of pirates that turn up to try and put thermal detonators in. As I say, it's getting a bit of a repetitive scene of Mando on top taking them out. It's exciting, but it's just a bit repetitive. And just as I've said this comment, about 4 crafts turn up and they've all got thermal detonators. They all turn them on and it's a race. Mando and Mayfeld have got to get to this refinery and they're being chased by the crafts. It's just a bit boring. I don't know whether it's because the last one was so exciting. It was so emotional, and because you've got that attachment to Grogu, where as they're just racing there, they've been on this Juggernaut now for about 10-15 minutes. And it's just, as I say, it's like a computer game. They keep being chased. There's nothing else happening. I just want them to get inside this refinery and see what happens from there. That's what I'm talking about. 2 TIE fighters come in and take all of the pirates out. Something different, something exciting. A really good scene. The roar of those TIE fighters is amazing. I love it. I'll never get sick of that. They come in and wipe everyone out. And the rest of the pirates that are remaining do get taken out on foot by stormtroopers. You've got the white normal stormtroopers and the brown ones. I've not seen them before. I don't know whether they're kind of like forest troopers or not, but they look really cool nevertheless. So thankfully the pirates are done. So they've made it into the refinery. They've found the terminal, and there it is. You've got 2 kind of Imperial guards there, or officers there. I've got a feeling that these 2 are going to be a pain in the arse. There you go, problem already. Mayfeld's just come out and said, I can't go in there because Valin Hess is there. Valin Hess, he used to serve underneath him. There's clearly going to be a problem between the 2, which means he can't use the terminal. So Mayfeld is saying he can't do it. The longer he's standing there arguing, the longer he's standing there looking like he's shitting himself, the more attention he's drawing to himself, and Valin Hess is already looking over. Whoa! Mando's just taken off his mask. It needs a facial scan to use this device. So he took his mask off. He never takes his mask off, but he's taken his mask off in a room full of Imperials. This just goes to show, and just a reflection of how much he cares for Grogu and how much he wants him back. So as he's doing this, the 2 nose ointments that the Imperial guards keep looking over. I think it's only going to be a matter of time before they come over and start asking questions. So the officer comes over and asks what he's doing, where he's going, and his TK number. Mando hasn't really got the right answers for this, but Mayfeld comes over and saves his bacon, and as they're walking away to say they've got some stuff to do to finish off, they're told they're not dismissed and to come back. This is where the trouble is going to start, but it's surprising that Mando has let everyone see him with his mask off. Remember, it's a massive deal. He'd rather someone die than see him with his mask, with his helmet off, but now he's quite happy. And bearing in mind he's probably happy because of the pressure he's under and necessity of the mission, but for everyone to see him with his mask off. So he calls them back really just to thank them and congratulate them getting their Juggernaut through, being the only one who's managed to do it. And he smiles and says, let's get a drink. A bit of an anti-climax, to be honest. I think I would rather have had a firefight in some way and they have to try and get out. It's just, I don't know, I'm just not feeling it this episode. It's just not doing it for me at the moment. So meanwhile outside you've got Fennec and Carla who's sizing up the opposition, working out an escape plan. It's great to see you've got these different guards there. You've got the ones, remember, from the Death Star who press that lever that goes when it fires the Death Star laser. So you've got them outside sizing up the opposition. So they're sitting at the table and the officer says, what should we toast to? And Mayfeld says, what about Operation Cinder? And he starts talking about it and says that he lost a lot of good people that day and that I lost a lot of good colleagues. And the officer says, yeah, I had to make a lot of decisions there that day that were quite bad, that had quite a bad effect on everyone involved. I should imagine he sat miles away from when the action was happening, making decisions that killed innocent people. You get the impression, the way the conversation is going at the moment, that Mayfeld is building up to a lost lot of colleagues and that he wasn't happy and he doesn't agree with the decisions made. It's one of those ones that's reaching a climax as the anger builds, and bit by bit he's dropping hints as to why he's really pissed off, why he disagrees, and then suddenly the penny will drop and the officer will know that the other guy, being Mayfeld, is putting him down. Mando's already picked up on the direction of the conversation, the way it's going, and he's already kind of like just shook his head to say, don't even go there, I know where this is going. The other guy is too thick-skinned, too ignorant to pick up on what he's saying, but we know where it's going already. So the guard has just leant forward and said everybody thinks they want freedom, but what they really want is order, meaning the Empire is taking over and doing what they want to the sacrifice, detriment of everyone else. They don't have a say in it. I think it's just about to explode. And thank God something's happened. The guy was going on and on and on, and Mayfeld couldn't take any more, and he's done what I wanted him to do, whatever I wanted him to do, and he shot him. Bang on the table, he's dead. There's going to be a fallout. They're going to have to escape. They already know where the cruiser is because Mando's found that out. So all they need to do is escape. And you already got Fennec and you've got Carla, and somewhere is Boba Fett ready to aid their escape. So after shooting their way out of the room that they're in, they escape, and you can look down, you can see a massive dam with the water coming out, which is no doubt powering this refinery. I've got a feeling by the end of the day there's going to be a few more stormtroopers floating in that water. This is friggin' awesome. They're trying to escape, they're walking along a ledge. You've got Fennec, you've got Carla with sniper rifles taking these stormtroopers out like Call of Duty style as they're coming out after them. This is the excitement I want. This is when it gets good, when you've got the whole gang working together, taking out the stormtroopers. This is just what I need in this episode. So Mayfeld and Mando manage to make their escape and they jump on Slave One. And then he turns around and shoots the Rhydonium in the back of one of the Juggernauts, causing an explosion and blowing up virtually half of the mining shaft. But you can already see a TIE fighter in the distance coming in, so I think we're going to go and get another chase. This is ending on a high. I hope it keeps going. Whoa, so much for a chase. Just as I think things are about to start going, that Boba Fett drops this kind of mine and it falls straight down between both of the TIE fighters and explodes. And you get this blue kind of ripple effect that comes out as the TIE fighters explode. It's a really good visual. You see it from the air and you see it from the ground with Fennec and Carla as well. It's a great way. It's another little gadget that I hadn't seen before, and it's really good fun. So they get off the planet, but before they do that, they say that Mayfeld, it's a shame he died in this battle. So they've given him his freedom. They're basically going to go back, and Carla's going to say that he died on this mission. And they gave him a pass. Because remember, he did do his bit. And I was wrong. He didn't die. So, but it's a good way for it. Because he was a nice character. And he came round in the end. He had a full arc of being a shitbag from when he started. But from leaving, getting his freedom. So it ends on the Imperial ship with Moff Gideon. And his officer comes in and says, we've got this message. And it's Mando saying, you've got something that belongs to me. Something that's powerful. Something you don't understand. And I'm going to get it back. It would have been nice. It would have been a really interesting touch if he would have given that message like Liam Neeson did in Taken.
If you are looking for ransom, I can tell you I don't have money, but what I do have are a very particular set of skills. Skills I've acquired over a very long career. Skills that make me a nightmare for people like you.
It would have been a real twist on things and quite a comedic ending. But let's talk about that episode. For me, personally, let me know your thoughts. Let me know if I'm way out on this. But following the race on the last one of just how good it was, I think the introduction of Boba Fett made things so exciting, having Fennec back as well. That this episode felt a bit lackluster. It felt a bit slow. The repetition on the Juggernaut just wasn't doing it for me after a while. After you had the third level of different pirates coming in, it got a bit boring. It was a bit predictable. It was a bit the same thing. They quickly corrected that by the TIE fighters coming in, but by then I was just too bored. It was nice to see that Mayfeld have a complete arc of going from bad guy to good guy with morals and actually killing one of the Empire himself. And it was a nice touch, and I like that. And I was really surprised that he didn't die, especially the fact that he saw Mando without his helmet on, because normally no one does that. But he kind of became honourable. He had a full arc himself. And it was great seeing them get off the planet with that shootout with the stormtroopers, with Fennec and Carla with their sniper rifles taking them out. That was really good. And getting picked up. So they really picked it up towards the end, and I did enjoy it. But for me, I'd say it was one of the worst. Well, that's wrong putting it like that. It was my least favourite. Saying someone of the worst makes it sound bad. It wasn't bad. I think the bar has just been raised so much that it's very hard to keep up this momentum. But for me, it was probably one of my least favourite episodes from Season 2. But let me know your thoughts. Again, if you think I'm wrong, let me know. And we can have a talk about it. I really enjoy everyone who's comments. And thanks for everyone who's left comments. Thanks to everyone who's watched this. I'm really humbled and surprised by the fact that so many people have watched this. And I'm just grateful. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm going to be doing Lethal Weapon next. So that will be the next one out. If you click on subscribe, if you click on notifications, you will see Lethal Weapon within the next couple of days. Okay, remember, go through the playlist. You've got Season 1, Season 2 of Cobra Kai, which I really enjoyed. The Shield, I can pick that up now. We've got one more left of the Mandalorian, I believe. So then I could smash the Shield completely, which is really good. I recommend everyone watching that. Okay, I'm Stuart. This has been the Film Reelcast. This has been good fun. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you very soon.